indeed a grateful, joyful time that we can welcome you again, wherever you view us from. We want to thank God for you. With grateful hearts, we say thanks to God for having us alive, having us well. You and your family, we pray that you will be well too. We want to thank you for viewing us week after week, and wherever you view us, we want to say welcome to you, and we ask that you stay tuned, and we pray that God richly bless you. Welcome.
This evening we want to pause to say thanks to God for all the things that He has been doing for us. In Psalms 92 says we should always give praise and thanks unto the Lord. And God has been good to this nation. He's been good to us personally, individually. He has been helping us along the way. And so we are grateful. We want to express gratitude. And you know, sometimes we ask God for many, many things, and we sometimes forget to stop to say thanks for the things that He has given us as we continue to ask. But we want us this morning to take some time and to say thanks to the Lord. We want to thank you for life, that we're in the land of the living. You know, many of us, if it had not been for God, we might have been dead by now as a result of some disease, some accident or something. But God has continued to watch over us. And once we are alive, it means that there is some purpose that we still have to fulfill. We want to thank God for the nation as a people that we are still standing. You know, when we look around the world, we see many nations are in chaos, whether it is disasters, whether it is crime, banditry, and every day is something. And so we want to say thanks to God for keeping us as a nation, for keeping us together. We want to thank Him for our resources also, our economic resources, the oil, the gold, the bauxite, the diamond, and all those things that God has given to us as a nation. And so we really want to express gratitude, and I believe that when we look as a people collectively and see all the things that God has done for us, I believe we should recognize that we really need to work together if we're going to really advance as a nation, as a people. Gentlemen.
We are in the 8th month of the year, and you know, at the start of a lot of part of last year, the prediction and you know the prophets of doom predicted that at this time of the year, probably this nation would have been in turmoil. There would be great confusion, upheaval, and all of that. But God continued to superintend over this nation. And as a people, we must be extremely grateful for what God has done. Yeah. Despite all the prediction, we are still in the 8th month of the year. We are still standing as a blessed people. And look what is happening, the predictions from those without, and also some within, they are predicting that we have a glorious future ahead. It is not because of who we are, but because of the God that we serve, and He continues to work in and through this nation.
At a personal level, I endorse that. At a personal level, I want to really say thanks, even though I'm mindful of taking this opportunity. 1 year ago, I just returned from South Africa, picked up a book somewhere in my system, and 2 weeks after arriving home, my body 1 year ago today, the day we record this program, my body inexplicably collapsed. I remember the occasion. I was fighting for a young lady who had been brutally raped. Rape cannot be a pleasant situation, but I heard about her condition while I was overseas, and I was determined to fight for her upon my return. You know, Lemuel's mother said to him that he must speak up for those who are voiceless, and I was in the process of doing that all day. That day 1 year ago, I had fever raging in my body. It had been raging in my body for over 7 days, but I was hardly saying that to anyone. But later on in the evening, as I was waiting on a public authority to meet with us, I felt the signs that I never felt before, and collapsed. here I am in the introduction, you heard about people not making it, people are dead. I could have been one of those numbers. Instead of seeing me live here, it could have been a memorial. People are thinking about that. But I am alive and well and kicking. And I want to say, in the spirit of today's program, thanks to the Lord. And thanks to those, there was a young engineer who caught me as I fell, and my head would have cannoned into the concrete floor there, but he saw this 260, 75 pounds coming down and cradled the fall. God is a good God.
Amen.
And it's a good thing to say thanks.
Yes.
And never mind the naysayers. I mean, I just shared something personal, but never mind the naysayers. Don't look for the negative all of the times. Look for the positive and give God thanks. And as you give God thanks, you'll be adding to your life. You'll be adding to the well-being of your family. You'll be adding to the well-being of the people in the environment. So, from a very personal level, thank you, Father, for your goodness and your grace towards me, and of course towards our nation.
God, we thank you for our bishop. We are so happy that you have preserved his life so that he can continue to do the work and assignment you placed upon him. I can also testify that you, Bishop, about just over a year ago, when I went to do a surgery, and what happened after that, I honestly felt I would die. And so I'm sure around
You look as though you're going to die.
Well, you know, because you were there. And so I rather say thanks to God for preserving my life. And I'm sure many persons, and what has happened, we haven't stopped to say thank you. It is a good thing to say thanks. I also want to say thanks to God for our education system and structure that has been able to help us to improve our education results in the CSEC and the Cape. You know that the future of Guyana is really in the hands of our young people. And if we really can develop their academic capacity and their spiritual strength, it is going to be almost impossible for the enemy to erode them. And so we want to say thanks to Shalome. I want to say thanks. I know her personally. I want to say thanks to her and to all the others. And you know, there's an area we haven't mentioned, you know. That area is the area of agriculture.
Before you go to agriculture, we want to thank the Lord for this good performance. But we also want to register our indebtedness and our gratitude to our teachers.
Yes.
And to those who make it possible to deliver education. St. Ignatius, Region 9, St. Ignatius. I mean, this is a fantastic performance coming out from that community. Notwithstanding the glitch we had, 9 is always greater than 8. We shouldn't have to worry over that. But when we drop the ball, we must be willing to accept. And not only when we drop the ball, people who seek glory, when things are good, you must take the breakbacks also.
Yes. Yes, sir.
If you're going after glory, like if it's you responsible single-handedly or whatever for causing this thing to be so good, whenever things turn, you must step up to the plate and accept responsibility. It's life. We want to say thank you to all those hard-working folks, and we want to thank the parents, and we want to thank those young people. Listen, you are here. They say that you are the people of tomorrow. You're already here. Continue to make your presence felt. And as you leave our country, as you leave our country to go and study in other countries, do well, excel, and after you would have excelled, come back and serve.
Yes, sir. Amen.
This country.
Every day of our lives, we can choose to complain of what we don't have, or we can choose to thank God for what we have and believe Him and thank Him for what He will continue to give to us. You know, the whole concept of Thanksgiving might look simple and straightforward, but it has a lot of benefits. And you know, one of those benefits of giving God thanks is it brings Him into our space. When we give God thanks, it brings Him into our space, into our personal lives. And it allows His glory to shine and to bring life and light. And so from a personal level, I want to thank God every single day for my life. And life that we can enjoy in Him, and every single day see Him moving us on. As a nation, there is so much to thank God for. Every day as we move about our business and we do the different things that requires attention and making decisions, we have to really thank God for helping us
In the book of
through that
Psalms,
process.
in the book of Psalms, chapter 92, verse 1, it encourages us. It says it's a good thing to give thanks unto the Lord and to sing praises unto thy name, O Most High God. God is in control of this entire universe. The Word of God reminds us that the earth is the Lord's, the fullness thereof, the world and they that dwell therein. It is because of His goodness towards us that we are who we are today. And so we need to always recognize within ourselves we are nothing. But with God we can become and we can achieve anything we want to achieve. I think of going into the marketplace and observing the produce that is available to us.
Every day.
Every day. Fresh.
Yes.
Fresh produce. And sometimes we take these things for granted. But because of the goodness of God, even the land is responding.
But we have to appeal to them. Don't use so much of rec now. On the
That's
banana. Oranges. I mean, that's one of the problems, the insecticides and so on. They are hurting us. They are hurting themselves because if this appeal to farmers, if you want to sell your produce and therefore you advance its age to the market, if you affect those of us, the consumers who buy your produce, if you get us sick and we can't come, who you can sell to? Yeah? If you, so please take care of, bananas used to stay in your house for 1 week. Bananas green, and after 2 days, the thing gone already, and all the other fruits. So please, we appealing to you, don't let your hand be so heavy and using all those different things. Let us enjoy the fruits.
And I get this thing from the Bible that God expects us to really say thanks. Sometimes, like I said earlier, we keep asking and we keep getting, but we never stop to say thanks for what He has done. And I reflect on the story that all of us know about the 10 leprous men in the Bible. They of course, they had leprosy and they approached Jesus and He said, go show yourself to the priest. And so while they were going, the scriptures claim that those men's skin became very clean, like newborn babes. But the scripture said only one man went back. And I always reflect on that part. Why did Jesus ask for the 9 of them? Could He just bless the man who went back and say, go? But he paused to ask the question. I think there were 10, but where's the other 9? And of course, the man who went back to say thanks, he got a special blessing.
Yeah.
So I believe that, when you say thanks to the Lord, you make a connection with Him for a continuous kind of blessing. So it's a good thing, as the word says.
You exhibit a spirit of gratitude.
Yes.
That is what. I heard a preacher preaching in a particular location in this country, and he asked the same question, rhetorical question. Jesus asked, where are the 9? And he located the geographical area where he was preaching, and he said, I won't tell you where, but he said, all of them are in this particular geographical location. We're the 9. You know, he was really saying that the people who live there, they lack gratitude. But we as a people, we must say to God, and that's what we're doing. We've just, and we are reading a half-year, mid-year report, which is an example of leadership, given an account, saying, for the last 6 months, we achieved A, B, C, D, E, F. Now, as we look at it, you can decide you pick up all the negatives and bash, or you have to correct. You have to say to leaders, improve, but at the same time, like the geese, encourage the leader, do better. You have done well in A, B, C, D. The entire report cannot be negative. And I think if we have an attitude of gratitude, we'll be able to say thanks where we should say thanks.
And we are going to see even more of God's manifest power in our midst. You know, Revelation 10 says, you know, we overcome the enemy by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of our testimony. And if you examine the concept of the word of our testimony, it is being able to recognize what God has done in the past and thanking Him for what He has done in the past, knowing fully well that that same God who has done it in the past is going to do it again for you. And so it creates an atmosphere where the presence of God can work, where the power of God is manifested. And it leads me to a concept, only last Sunday I shared this in the second service, Bishop, in John chapter 4, where it says that there is the spirit of the Antichrist that is in the world. And God's children must become overcomers. And how do we become overcomers? By celebrating what God has done. For the enemy itself would like to show that God is doing nothing. And by showing that, it seems as if God is powerless, incapable of helping, and so the enemy gets the glory. And so I want to encourage us, take out the negative mindset and put on the correct mindset by developing an attitude.
Some of us might be saying, you know, that's a waste of time, man. That's your opinion. Well, perhaps we don't meet some men. In Bangladesh, recently, 50,000 persons became homeless as a result of a fire that raged through a particular community. In Turkey, they had a flood that came upon them suddenly, and you can think about the destruction. In Syria, people who have escaped the fighting between the rebels and the government and any other group there, every single day come under immense bombing. I mean, if you take photographs of Syria, a country that has tremendous roots in the Bible, and you know, great significance not only to history but to the future of our world. There are children who are dying daily. We are grateful to God for how He has protected us. If you have in Africa, in the Congo, and in some of the other countries nearby, you have Ebola ripping the very heart of the people there. And you could think about our neighbor Venezuela struggling with whatever they're struggling with. And in the midst of all of these things, our coastline, we are what? 6 feet below sea level. And we have porous, in some areas, we have porous sea defenses. But God is an awesome God. And we want to say thanks. If you're traveling, coming to Port Georgetown, using the Atlantic Ocean, coming into the mouth of the Demerara River, Georgetown, you don't see it. You know, you're coming in like this. And as you approach Georgetown, rises suddenly like that. Because Georgetown is beneath.
Yes.
All right? What keeps us? What keeps us?
Great son.
They're building 2 brand new hotels right next to the seawall there. You think just the foundation of those hotels will keep us? Every single day, God keeps us. And we want to say thanks. We want to say thanks to Him. Like how a mid-year report is given. We felt we will take this upon ourselves to thank God, not just for agriculture and economics. Think about Trinidad and Jamaica in terms of the runaway crime that they have. And how many people have been murdered in both countries for the year.
Yes.
We want to say thanks. 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 And we import a lot of the music from Jamaica. And we import whatever they do in Trinidad. But we don't want those things. We don't want the violence that they have there. And so we want to say thanks. And perhaps leadership is everything.
Yes.
And we want to thank God for our leadership.
Yes.
And we pray that leadership of every kind, not just political leadership, but leaders in the religious community, leaders in the economic community. You know, there are some men in the business sector who really want to run the country, and they want to impose their will. We want to thank God even for them. It's amazing how those things are, and we have to find, let us thank God that together we will find a path to work hand in hand.
Amen.
You know, we're showing the congregation from the book of Esther, where long before Indians and Africans were brought into an abusive situation, like in a country like Guyana, where the Africans were enslaved and brought here, and Indians were made indentured servants and brought here. Long before we were brought together in this abusive, exploitative environment, we met each other in the 5th century under the Persians, where the scripture is very clear, where Artaxerxes, his empire ruled from India to Ethiopia. And so long before Marco Polo tried to bring spices, they, in this system, they were quite familiar with each other's culture, and they work in a harmonious way long before. We need to rediscover that, and we need to understand, and we need to say to the politicians, jettison those politicians who are suggesting that the only way we can work is in an adversarial environment and attacking each other. No. We need to go back to the glory days, where we can trade with each other, where we can work with each other, where we can build this beautiful country. And in advance, I am thanking God for that.
You know, the scripture says in 107 says, "Oh, that men would give thanks unto the Lord, for He is good, and His mercies endure forever." If it hadn't been for the Lord on our side, where would we have been? Today as a nation, even as we face challenges in our nation, we could wake up this morning to a new song, to say thank God for all that He has done and He's still doing for us. You know, many times when we look around, some people, we are dismayed by what we hear and what we see. But God has been good to us as a nation, and so we take time off today to say thank you for preserving our families, thank you for preserving our communities, our neighborhood, thank you for preserving our leaders. Oh, because without leaders, we would surely perish, but God has been good to us, and so I say thank you this morning. Thank you for all that you have done.
2 Corinthians 9:11 says, "You will be enriched in every way, so that you can be generous on every occasion, and through us your generosity will result in thanksgiving to God." And so, sometimes it is not just spoken. I mean, you could tell God thanks, and we could constantly do that. But also how we relate to people, you know, you could be generous in your speech. You know, what you say, what you speak over the nation. All of that, you know, as you attempt to reach out to people, that is being generous, and in that context, God appreciates that as also as a form of thanksgiving. So
But-
it is not always a situation where you speak, but you could reach out to people also. When we look in this nation, I believe people could express thanksgiving to God by just being generous in the way they relate to one another, in the way they speak over the nation, and everything can be bad all the time.
But you know, I'm glad it came from you, doctor, as an educator. You know, the fact of Thanksgiving has to be taught also, you know. Sometimes we take it for granted that people, like the example you cited with the leprous men, one returned, the others did not. So sometimes, you know, we receive from God, but we have to be taught to say thanks. So, I mean, inherent to this program, while we are saying thanks, we are teaching those who are listening to us to say thanks also to God.
It is a good thing to give thanks to the Lord and to sing praise to your name, O Most High. To declare the loving kindness in the morning and your faithfulness every night. Good thing.
Bishop,
Give thanks.
I was thinking, we copy a lot of things from other people. But I was wondering why we can't have a day in the year to give thanks as a nation. You can speak to somebody.
Well, so many persons are listening. And we celebrate Thanksgiving. We have joined the Americans. We celebrate Thanksgiving, I think the last Thursday
In
in November. And so we have harvest and Thanksgiving all across this country.
Yeah.
We give Thanksgiving for agriculture, for everything. But as we wind this program up, we want to thank God for our professionals, our doctors. It's remarkable, you know, there are some of us who might have to travel overseas and to consult a physician or whatever the case might be, after having seen these professionals here, and to hear the professionals overseas confirm the correctness of the diagnosis and also the correctness of the treatment. It tells us that all is not lost. We are grateful to God for our professionals, our nurses, our doctors, our engineers, our lawyers. I mean, all. We want to give God thanks. To you, our teachers, the people who clean the streets. Look at Georgetown. It is not as filthy as it was several years ago, you know. And look where you live. And if you're not pleased with where you live, clean it yourself, you know. I say to the people in my NDC, don't clean my drain. I will clean it myself. And let's take that kind of responsibility. And we want to say, on behalf of this country, to the Lord, thank you very much for watching over us and blessing us. Amen. See you next week.
We thank you for joining us on Choices today. Remember, you can join us at First Assembly, LNP Durban Street, Workmanville, Georgetown, Guyana, for any of our special services. I'm Celicia on behalf of the set, reminding you that your whole life is the sum of your choices. God bless you.